Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, the latest in television entertainment news. Hey, Be in the Beautiful fans, I've got your early weekly spoilers for March 2nd through the 6th. We're going to see Ridge lashing out and Steffi stunned. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. If you're not following us, reach down and hit that subscribe button. As you know, on Early Edition Day, we start with what's coming the rest of this week, then we get into what is coming next week. So let's dive in. On Wednesday, February 25th, it is the last day of sweeps, by the way. So Electra is telling RJ about her situation with Will and Dylan. She says that Will said that nothing inappropriate happened with him and Dylan, and RJ wants to know if Electra thinks otherwise, that something did go on with Will. And Electra says she trusts her Aunt Ivy. Well, she shouldn't. That trust is quite misplaced, since she stole Electra's letter and, grabbed Will's necklace and staged what looked like a breakup message with that stunt. Because letter's gone, I guess the idea is, oh, he ripped the necklace in half or something. But RJ tells Electra that something's wrong with Will if he won't do whatever he has to do to be with her. And then RJ is going to kiss Electra. And again, we've got Ivy snooping and watching. And it looks like Will is also going to see the kiss. And I think Ivy might set the stage for Will to see Electra lip-locking with RJ. Ivy is completely manipulating the situation between RJ and Electra to get them together because Ivy is bent on getting Will and his inappropriate behavior away from Electra. So over at Will's place, he reluctantly tells Dylan she has to leave his house first thing in the morning, a decision I'm sure Will is going to regret once he sees Electra kissing RJ. But Will initially caves to the ultimatum Electra gave him about Dylan, and then I think Will's going to go up to Forrester to tell Electra, okay, I told Dylan she has to go, but then he's going to see RJ with Electra, and I think that's going to be the game changer. Ivy could even take things a step further and try to get Will fired from Forrester. She could go tell Steffi that Will's cheating with Dylan and that Electra is traumatized. I mean, Will is barely been hired and his mom is running a competing firm. So by all accounts, Electra is a more valuable employee, and Will may get fired, or he may walk away because he's disgusted. So over at the Spencer Publications office building, Bill reiterates for Katie that Eric's designs are theirs. They belong to them and to Logan. And Katie's looking pretty stressed out about this. I think that she wants Eric to work for them on the best possible terms, and she doesn't want him to feel like his hand is being forced. But Bill's not going to have it. They have a contract, he's going to enforce it. Ridge sarcastically is snarking to Brooke that once again, Katie didn't do anything wrong, she's the victim in this. And Brooke says Katie stole the Logan name and she stole Eric. And Ridge and Brooke are going to do a whole lot of we're completely right and Katie's completely wrong. And I know people are very divided on this. I do think that Brooke should have owned up to her role and Ridge's role in driving Eric over to Logan, because Katie did concede on a couple of points and, was offering, I think, an olive branch, and Brooke just slapped it out of her hand. She will not acknowledge that she and Ridge did anything wrong when they did. You don't surprise party retire someone. They might have a literal coronary. And despite Ridge making peace with Eric and promising respect, he went and told Bill and Katie that Eric's not working with Logan anymore. But we'll find out what Eric has to say about that, because that's not a message he gave Ridge to deliver. And Eric just told Ridge, stop treating me like a child, but then he did treat him like a child and go quit on his behalf. I don't think that's going to fly. Thursday, February 26th, we've got Daphne getting an eyeful of something she's not supposed to. Now, she already saw Ivy doing the thing with the letter, so I don't know if she's going to see something more with the letter or see Ivy eavesdropping, but Daphne is going to figure things out. And Ivy tells Daphne, don't you dare tell anyone about this. Meanwhile, Electra shares huge news with RJ, and she may tell him, that they're officially done. This is all part of Ivy's deceitful plan. And by the way, spoilers say it works like a charm, and it succeeds by Thursday. So obviously this is to break up Electra and Will and push Electra and RJ closer. So I also wonder if Ivy somehow manipulates it to make sure that Will sees Electra with RJ. On Friday, February 27th, we've got Ivy doing even more plotting. She's just not stopping. I really want Daphne to intervene and tell somebody what's going on because Electra needs to know that her aunt cannot be trusted at all. Plus, Dylan hears shocking info. So Will had told her that she had to move out by the next day, and then looks like he was going to go up and tell Electra, okay, I did what you asked, even though I didn't like it. I put you first. And so I think that when Will comes back to the house, he's going to tell Dylan he saw Electra and RJ kissing at Forrester, and may tell Dylan, it's fine, you can stay, because obviously Electra chose some other guy. So Will and Dylan are going to have a close moment at the beach house this week, and I'm sure it's after that big deal breaker. The week of March 2nd through the 6th, we're going to see Will getting closer to Dylan thanks to all of Ivy's scheming. I'm sure she's very proud of herself. Daphne has to decide if she will spill the beans about Ivy or not, and I wonder if she will at least tell Parter that she caught Ivy up to no good, or Daphne may tell her bestie Steffi. I mean, after this, Daphne shouldn't trust Ivy at all, and I don't blame her. RJ keeps trying to get closer to Electra, and it's going to work, but she may be a little cautious because she just broke up with Will. But I'm guessing that Ivy is going to encourage Electra to go ahead and jump right in with RJ. Ivy is unhinged and gets more intent on what she's doing to make sure there's no way for Will to manage to reconcile with Electra. Ashley Brewer is going to be going out on maternity leave, probably in the next, if I had to guess, like 4 to 8 weeks, judging as a mom myself on the size of the baby bump. So I wonder how much more chaos that Ivy is going to cause before she's off screen. Katie is still reeling from her nasty fight with Brooke, and I think it's not going to stop. I think Katie is hurt, and Brooke is going to keep kicking her while she's down. Donna is going to be on high alert to make sure Eric doesn't get stressed out again. John McCook said in an interview, by the way, that Eric is not sick. That was a one-off little stress reaction with the breathing trouble. Hope's going to be devastated to hear about the Logans being ripped apart. Liam's going to get an earful from Bill and Katie about what went down. And we'll find out if Eric is going to stick to his contract and finish the Logan launch, and whether or not Katie is going to bring in some help, maybe somebody like Dee to help Eric so that he can do the work without the stress. And he did tell Eric he's coming home, meaning back to Forrester Creations. But also in that same interview, John McCook said Eric will come back on his own terms and in his own time, so he may stick with Katie short term. We're also due for an update on Deacon, Sheila, and Taylor, and word is going to spread about Eric being the secret designer at Logan, and everybody at Forrester is going to be gobsmacked, and Steffi may be especially hard hit. Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.